Hello there. Welcome back to the channel. I know that this video is probably about a week or so later than it was originally slated to be, and for that I do want to go ahead and apologize for that. There was another project that kind of came up that took a little bit of time, and I ended up being a little more distracted on that one than getting to these Legion videos. But now that those are currently in the works, I do have some time to be able to sit and record this. So in the past couple of videos, I've been talking about wargaming, I've been talking about Warhammer 40k, but I want to kind of talk about the wargame that I heard about and learned about first, that I really was looking to get invested in, but I haven't really found much of a community for it until recently, and that is Star Wars Legion. Now, originally I was going to do the heavy vehicle video where I was going to talk about, like, hey, these are all these different lists about heavy vehicles and whatnot, but I realized as I was getting ready to record it, it makes more sense to kind of start talking about the journey into Legion, where I've been, what's my plans going forward. So as a result, I decided we're going to go ahead and talk about this. I will say this video, unlike the others, it's going to have a lot of gameplay. These are just going to kind of be slides in the background. I don't really have a good title page. I'm kind of just throwing something together, so I do apologize if this just kind of looks very shoddily. I'm trying here, but hoping that some of these infographics and stuff like that is going to work. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and move into the first faction. Alright, and before we go ahead and quick start, I'm going to go ahead and kind of just run through this infographic really quickly, or kind of this slide per se, as I'm kind of treating this as if it's like a PowerPoint. Background picture is kind of just a quick picture that kind of represents the faction to a certain extent. I tried to get it as thematic as possible to the army and the way it was playing, but I didn't get a chance with all of them, so I just grabbed what I could. You're going to see the faction name up top. There's a sliding bar of personally how much fun I had running through the faction and my personal rating. Does not mean these factions are good. That's not to mean these factions are bad. I'm not here to give you like a meta list. I'm here to give you my personal take and opinion based on this. Picture on the rightmost side, you're going to see with like at least on this slide, is going to be 997 out of 1,000. You're going to see 10 activations. This is the infographic. This is from the Tabletop Admiral website. This is as close as I could get to recreating like one of the main lists I ran while trying to play Empire and getting a feel for it. So you're going to see different characters, different squads. You're going to see their upgrades underneath and such like that. And then you're going to see at the very bottom with like 1 dot, 2 dots, 3 dots, and a 4 dot. Those are usually called pips, but the different pips and all represent the command cards, which are cards that can be played and basically orders that are issued out by commanders or such that provide certain abilities and give people order tokens to decide when you want to activate them instead of randomly drawing. But with that out of the way, Galactic Empire was the first faction that I ever got the chance to play with. I feel incredibly lucky and blessed with the fact that I managed to end up getting this for an absolute steal. And I basically got the first edition Empire half of the box set. The person I picked this up from didn't have the Rebel half, and I also got lucky to pick up a couple of extra characters, whether it was bounty hunters or whatnot, and all I really ended up buying was a box of shore troopers to go with this, because originally I wanted to do a very Rogue One theme, not really knowing much about the game. Admittedly, Empire is a very gunline focused army. Lot of like walls of stormtroopers and stuff like that, and I didn't really get to try out a lot of vehicles much, if at all. The TX-225 Gav tank I did get to borrow once from a friend I kind of play semi-regularly with, but that was really it, and the tank really didn't do much. Admittedly, it kind of just transported troops, moved and died. So, and reminder, I really started getting more into this game and more after I had already been playing Warhammer for about, like, I want to say it'd been about 2.5, almost 3 years by this point. And admittedly, I've kind of already learned from Warhammer that I like a lot of heavy vehicles. I do like more of a armored company, armored assault when it comes to war games, because of the heavy firepower, the heavy damage, and the strong defenses. So I just never got that chance with the Empire. I will say, The Empire definitely feels very Imperial. All the factions have their different strengths and weaknesses. Empire is very strong on defense, but weak on offensive. The Rebels are very strong on offense, very weak on defense. They're glass cannons. And we'll get to the Republican Separatists later on, but I will say that you did feel the wall of Empire being the strong defense to a certain extent, and you kind of felt the whole stereotype of Stormtroopers can't aim kind of thing. Iden Versio and Darth Vader are straight up goated. Vader was doing a lot of work in every game I've ever played with him. I think the one game with Vader I didn't play with him in it, I got absolutely demolished really fast. That game was done super quick. I think my biggest highlight with Iden Versio is her just straight up one-shot assassinating Captain Rex. That was really, really impressive. I was not expecting that to happen. Vader is the GOAT. I understand a lot of people saying Vader is kind of an auto-include for Empire because he does a lot of good things for the Empire, not just being an absolute menace on the board and just that guy. Like, Vader is one of the only few characters in the game that cannot be suppressed and like end up like surpassing courage level, because there is no courage level. He just doesn't ever get fear, intimidation, or whatever it's called. And the fact that he has a command upgrade, Inspiring Presence, that basically allows him to spread it to all allies within range 4, which is almost most of the board, at least the ones I play on. That's kind of goated. You just have Vader in the middle and like nobody gets afraid. Yeah, so I also will say Boba Fett as a bounty hunter, really fun, really good, at least in the like one game I played with him. Bosk did not do much. Bosk sucks, in my humble opinion. But yeah, I'll be honest, I really did not. You kind of see the rating is kind of low and the fun is kind of low. I really don't enjoy how weak the offensive capabilities of the Empire are. I think it's like a 6-up or 5-up or something like that for them to actually successfully hit, and it really hurts. I don't know what it is. In like the multiple games I played with the Empire, I feel like I just whiff everything. Like the Stormtroopers can't aim. Yeah, no, clearly my Stormtroopers can't aim for anything. They can't hit the broadside of a barnyard. So that was not fun to deal with Republic forces, and my Empire just can't keep up with them. And I'll be honest, even though they're supposed to have a really strong defensive profile, just kind of like the Republic does and the Mandalorians do too, I don't know what's up with my dice. Maybe my dice just hate me. Maybe I'm just bad at it or something like that. But I thought the defensive capabilities were like a 4-up or something. It's like a 50-50 chance. And I felt like my Empire was dying more than the Rebels were when I played Rebels. And that was just really rough. Just having Empire that couldn't hit and just felt very weak. I'll be honest, I probably will end up selling my Empire stuff. I don't intend on sticking with this faction. They're kind of fun, but Vader and Iden and Boba Fett kind of just carried the fun factor for me. I really don't think I'm going to end up sticking with this faction. If I do end up sticking with Empire, I might try Tempest Force, which is a battle force, which gives you custom rules for how you want to assemble the army and stuff. That gives me the chance to basically play the Imperials that defended Endor and the shield generator. So I'll get access to 3 ATSTs instead of 2, a ton of scout troopers and some stormtroopers to support. Probably give them some astromechs to kind of heal up the walkers. But other than that, the only other combo I could see making me want to play Empire would be like Thrawn and Vader, just because they're that goated. But other than that, I'll be honest, I don't really see myself enjoying the Empire that much. Like the Tempest Force list, if I even play that, would have to really impress me to justify me picking up everything for Galactic Empire. I really just, respectfully, I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible. I'm not an Empire fan. Empire is probably one of my least favorite factions in the entirety of Star Wars, right next to Separatists, which is kind of really funny, actually, because I don't count the sequels. Yeah, I mean, like, sure, Empire's got some cool aesthetics. Shore Troopers are goated, Scout Troopers are goated, the Imperial Remnants concept art looked goated as heck. I just didn't really jive or vibe with the Galactic Empire that much in this game, and I feel bad, but you know what, I'm going to be as unbiased as possible, and I really do think that there are better factions out there. So yeah, that's the Galactic Empire. I think we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next faction. Alright, and we are moving on over to the Grand Army of the Republic, or the Galactic Republic. We're probably just going to be calling it GAR, or the Republic, just to kind of make things simpler. As you can see already, a huge improvement in both the rating and the fun factor, and I'll be completely honest, like, this was a hard one to be as unbiased with, but I had to kind of look at the facts. I got a couple times to play it. You'll probably notice on the right hand side, I got to play 501st Legion, which is a specific battle force that kind of limits you to, you know, Anakin, Ahsoka, Rex, and kind of elements like the 501st. So you're not allowed to bring, Obi-Wan or Yoda. You can't bring Padme. You can't bring like a lot of certain things. It allows you to kind of be a little more flexible with more special forces with the ARC Troopers, as a lot of 501st characters make it to ARC Trooper status. But just GAR is a very personal favorite. Thanks to my childhood. I kind of grew up around the time the prequels were coming out and such like that. I was still a kid, and I still remember seeing the 2003 Clone Wars show air on TV, the Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith trailers, the Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith game trailers coming out, the Star Wars Battlefront 2 trailers in game, the Republic Commando trailer in game, and honestly just a lot of that coming out around the same time. And the 2007 the Clone Wars movie, and the 2008 the Clone Wars show. And I really just grew up a lot with the prequels. I have always been a major fan of the prequels. The Republic is by far my favorite faction out of all of them. Yeah, just main reason I kind of put the rating in the middle. Kind of taking a Yoda quote from the Clone Wars Season 1, Episode 1. Smaller in number are we, but larger in mind. And the main reason I put the quote there to kind of make sense is the Republic, I almost said the Empire. Jeez. The Galactic Republic has a much smaller unit and model count than most of the other factions. Everybody in the Republic, every unit that you're going to field is very powerful and is very capable in both offense and defense. They've got strong offense, they've got strong defense, they are really good at having general synergy overall with everybody, being able to share tokens so you can share some aim, share some dodges, so one unit can aim and another unit can benefit from it. But everybody's got to be at a certain kind of distance and range close by for everyone to be able to benefit. And honestly, I probably mentioned this before with Dark Angels and Guard, but like besides learning all about the I love the armored companies and stuff I mentioned like back with Empire side, that I learned I really like tanks and stuff in Dark Angels and in the Guard. I'm also not a big fan of low model count. I know that's kind of ironic. Oh, you like spamming tanks, but you don't like low model counts. Yeah, I know, it's very ironic. What do you think? Why do you think I want to do more tanks in Guard? Eventually, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of the low model counts, low unit counts, because for the Republic you kind of have to be close by, and having those low model counts kind of forces you to very much kind of be within a certain radius. Now obviously you don't have to follow that, you can be outside of that range, but you won't be able to benefit with each other, and I think that kind of sucks. So it's better to kind of be kind of close by and everything. But honestly, 501st Legion is a lot of fun. GAR is also ironically probably not ironically, but is the most played faction in my local community of Legion that's starting to grow. Everybody and their apprentices and their masters all seems to own a GAR army. I've seen 212, I've seen 501st. I'll be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody's already got like a Wookiee Defenders, like 41st with Yoda kind of theme going. If I end up picking up GAR at some point in the future, I'll say the 212 Battalion is looking really nice just for being able to run triple tanks, especially the Saber tanks or even the swamp support platforms. But honestly, it would be kind of fun to shake things up and just run around with Yoda and do like Yoda quotes all game. I think that'd be really funny to do for GAR. So we'll see. I may end up picking up Republic, but for now, respectfully, I think this is going to be a bit of a pass for me. Anakin is goated. I love Anakin. I understand why people like the I understand why people like the ARC Troopers. I understand why people love Rex. Um, really solid on the table. I actually know somebody play Gar. Not 501st. He really loves the clones. I think he has a Rex and Cody lineup build where it's all about playing just clones. But I think the biggest thing that annoys me, and I've tried explaining it and he just doesn't pick it up, is the fact that he uses Cody as a sniper and not as a vehicular support. So he doesn't run any vehicles like ATRTs or infantry support platforms or saber tanks or anything. He just runs like ARC troopers. I think he runs commandos, standard infantry, Rex and Cody, and he just puts Cody as a sniper. And it's like, you know what? I'm gonna give you credit. You're using his range to good effect, but like, dude, you could just grab those ARC Trooper strike teams, throw a sniper in there, and have a spotter with them, and it's going to feel a lot better. But that's just me. I'm not going to tell people how to live their lives. Alright, and with that, we're going to move on from the Galactic Republic over to the Rebel Alliance. And I'm going to be honest, you can probably tell where this is going just from looking at the bars up top. I will say, if you kind of look over at the right and go, hey, that only says 600 out of 600, you would be absolutely correct. I had to kind of, in order to try playing through the Rebels, we had to not kit bash, but we proxied almost the entirety of what Empire stuff I had, and some of my friends' Rebel stuff, or Empire stuff, and we had to proxy almost the entire army up. So like Vader represented Luke Skywalker. I think we used Iden Versio in places of being ready. It got like really weird, guys, but I got a chance to try it. We only really had enough stuff to be able to play a more of a recon game with 600 instead of 1,000 points, but I'll be really blunt about it. The Rebels were probably the most fun I've had all like playing any other faction, and I definitely think that this is going to be the faction I end up settling with and trying to buy a starter box. So I've been kind of eyeing them up since I learned about the game, mostly because I wanted to pick up the, I wanted to go for Rogue One theme, like I did with the Empire, and my goal was to pick up these Rebel Pathfinders, like the Scarif boys, with Cassian and Jyn Erso and K2SO, and just kind of do an army like very Rogue One-esque, Rogue One themed, and I thought that was going to be really fun. You know, the Rebel Alliance is really good at offense, but like, but rip to the Pathfinders, because by the time that I was getting ready, I had finally found people in the community who were starting to play Legion. The Rebel Pathfinders were removed from the game, along with Emperor Palpatine and the Royal Guards, along with all of the ARC Troopers' jetpacks and Rex's jetpack for the Republic. And I don't remember what the Separatists lost, but big oof, big rip to thing, because I was literally about to pull the trigger and buy 3 Rebel Pathfinder boxes. Ouch. But yeah, kind of circling back, Rebel Alliance, kind of the contrast with the Empire. They're going to be really bad at defense, but they have really strong offense, and the Rebels have I think the Rebels have the highest amount of operatives and a decent amount of commanders. And you've got a lot of hero support, especially with the operatives. Your operative slot is apparently, you've got people like Sabine Wren, Cassian Andor, the Mandalorian himself, Fulcrum Ahsoka Tano. You've got like Episode 6 Luke. You've got the Hoth Han Solo on a Tauntaun. And like, it just got you've got amazing hero support, so much to the point that I think you're gonna be like, if you're looking to pick up every single hero and cycle them out, you're gonna be looking for a while at getting some of these guys. Rebels are cheap. They're glass cannons. They're gonna be kind of cheaper, less points to get them on the field, but you have a higher unit count. Like, yeah, you only see like 7 activations here on the recon squad, but like, I've been kit bashing list ideas, and there are lists that you can get up to like, I think I've been able to comfortably hit around like somewhere near 15 to 17 activations, depending on how insane I go with some of the characters. But yeah, you can do like I've got one list that I'm looking at competitively that's got 2 commanders, 2 operatives, one of them being Jedi Luke, who's really expensive. And then you've got like a ton of, you've got like 3 or 4 core troops, and then like 3 special forces, and then like 3 supports, and it's like, what's that? 3, 3, 3. It's like 12, like 3, 6, 9, like 13. Yeah, like 13 small, but like I'm still pulling like around 15 to like 17 when I make lists that aren't that like specifically for competition. And like the rebels also really benefit off of constantly dodging. A lot of their core troops and stuff have like things that allow them to just move and dodge and get dodges innately, and dodges allow you to kind of mitigate and like basically say, no, I'm gonna dodge your shot so you don't have to roll for defense for it. And I feel like the rebels are really good at just, unlike the Republic, you don't have to stay kind of really close together. They can split up, they can cover much more of the board. You kind of still want to be in range of your commanders for certain abilities, like if you take vigilance to ensure that some of your troops keep the dodge tokens, but like outside of that, you can pretty much split up the board. Obviously, some of the biggest cons is the white defense die, they straight up suck. That is really the only play style wise I think is going to be the hard part, is if you don't have those dodges, your guys are going to, somebody sneezes and your guys die. Obviously with more units and more models, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. You can kind of get away with things if you like pick up like a box of rebel troopers. I think they come with like what, 10 or more scopes or something. Like I think it comes with like 11 scopes, so you can have the option of the base 4 plus the 2 different weapon guy options, and then I think you get like 4 or 5 more to kind of boost the squad if you do like instead of upgrading an extra trooper, you get a whole squad. So I think it comes with like 11 or 12, like 10 to 12 dudes in the box, and that's not bad. If you're not really putting upgrades on them, you could probably split it up and be like, yeah, here's 2 squads of 4, you know, or like without the special weapons. So there are ways to kind of save, but still it's a lot of models. It's going to get a lot more expensive. So cost is going to be a big thing. Luckily, this is not as expensive as Warhammer as of the time I am recording this, and I pray to God that it doesn't go up in price. I can't take these price increases. But kind of thing. And also, the Rebel Alliance, unlike the other ones we've covered so far, every character is just a unique generic dude. It's not like clones hiding behind their armor, or like stormtroopers hiding behind their armor, or even the Separatists, which are all a bunch of droids that all get the same paint scheme anyway. Like, it's gonna suck to paint faces and paint like flesh tones and stuff like that. I'm either gonna learn with the Guard and get good for the Rebels, or I'm gonna learn with the Rebels and get good for the Guard in Warhammer 40k. It's one way or the other. This is gonna happen. There's no other good choices. So yeah, honestly, kind of a bit of a spoiler for the end of the video, but I definitely think that I am gonna save up some money and try to sell my Empire stuff and switch it for Rebel Alliance army. I'm having a ton of fun. I'd love to pick up much more Rebels, maybe start with the starter box and go from there. And yeah, that's gonna cover the Rebels side of thing. Ooh. And the final faction that we are going to be covering today falls under the Mercenary banner. Mercenaries require you to run a certain battle force, otherwise they're not legal. There's only 3 options as of right now. You have the Shadow Collective with Maul and the Criminal Syndicates. You have Hondo Ohnaka's gang with Hondo and his Weequay Pirates. And you have the Mandalorian clans, who are the newest faction on the block. Real quick to just get it out of the way, no, I have not had a chance to play Separatists. No, I've not had a chance to play Shadow Collective. And no, I've not had a chance to play Hondo's gang. Nobody I know owns Hondo's gang, and nobody I know owns Shadow Collective. And Separatists are just more horde army than the Rebels are. Worse defensive capabilities like the Rebels, and worse offensive capabilities like the Empire. That's literally, the Republic is very elite focused and really good at everything. The Separatists are just good at swarming the board. That's really about it. I'm gonna be blunt with you. Don't care for them. Mandalorians though. I had a decent amount of fun with them. Newest faction on the block. I don't think their collection is fully finished. I mean, we really just got like two options for core troops. Like our our special forces are kind of just veterans for the other clans, and the our yeah, that's the special forces, and then the supports are kind of just like the same way the heavy weapons, like a heavy weapons team for like some of the core troops. Like that's it. Um, got new toys. You got the flamers. You got the the whipcord launchers. You've got the combat shield, and you got jetpack rockets. You can only take up to 2 of each upgrade, irregardless if you put it on a character or a squad. So for example, you take 2 of the heavy weapon squads and you put the jetpack rockets on them, no one else can take it. You cannot put it on characters, you cannot put it on core troops, nope, nobody else. Let's say you put the flame rocket, the flamethrowers, blah, on the commander and the operative. Well, now nobody else can take it. The core troops can't take it. Supports cannot take it. Special forces cannot take it. It's just, that's how it is. Other commanders and operatives can't take it. You know, like, it doesn't matter. You could even put like 1 whipcord launcher on an operative and 1 whipcord launcher on a core trooper, and that's it. Nobody else can take it. You kind of get the point already. A lot of cool new characters, honestly. We got Clan Kree's representation with Bo-Katan and Axe Woves. We got the Children of the Watch representation with the Armorer and Paz Vizsla, and bringing the Mandalorian Din Djarin back with Grogu for a little bit of extra fun. Clan Ren got Ursa Ren finally as her own character. Sabine got updated for the Mandalorian faction, and Tristan Ren is a choosable upgrade who benefits both the Clan Ren and Clan Saxon, considering what we see him in Rebels. Clan Saxon, we see Gar Saxon kind of updated from his Shadow Collective profile to a very Mandalorian focused around the Clan Saxon. And we also get to see Rook Cast go from being a upgrade for the Shadow Collective mercenary Mandalorians to being her own operative, independent and on her own in the Mandalorian faction. So, you know, a lot of cool new toys, a lot of cool new characters, and just with the different clan options and the ability to kind of pick some upgrades if you choose to forego any of the other clans and their clans and their benefits and stuff like that. So if you don't make everybody Clan Kreese, you can you don't make everybody, like if you make everybody Clan Ren, you get certain benefits. If everybody from Clan Kreese, they all get certain benefits. If you mix and match, you don't really get the benefits, but if all of your leaders don't choose any affiliations, you get a generic Mandalorian clan represented by the Mythosaur symbol. And there's a lot of different options. Everybody gets free weapon upgrade, like the weapon upgrade for all the generic troops becomes free instead of 5 points each. There's another one where you can add a third, you can pick to upgrade, to add a third of each of the upgrades, like the whipcord launcher, the flamer, and the rocket. I think it's the rocket grenade, and if not, it's the combat shield. But you can get a third one of them for free as one of the upgrades. You can mercenary in a tank, whether heavy support, whether it's a AA5 speeder tank or speeder truck used by the Rebels and Shadow Collective, the Gav tank from the Empire, or the WLO from like the Pirates. There's a lot of potential for customization with Mandalorians, far more than I would say any other faction. Both with the paint scheming and the limitless lore potentials for justifying your clan's like reason for being in Legion and fighting so much and stuff. I think Mandalorians really are going to give a lot of homebrew ability. We're going to see a lot of custom clans, I think, get painted up and made by people. Is definitely something that I could see happening. There's just a lot of opportunities here that I think for a lot of those people who want to have more of a custom army rather than just going for like, hey, I'm playing Vader's 501st Fist, or here's the 501st Legion, or something like. I think the Mandalorians are going to be one of the best for people who want to kind of be creative, let their imagination flow, and kind of give them a little unique personal story to justify their army having a bit of their own flavor. Also, I will say the operative option, the Mandalorian Hunter, is absolutely insane. She basically can become a bounty hunter. She gets really, like, her kits and stuff can get really good, and she can get really dangerous. I played one game with the Hunter. I think she soloed. It was either Anakin Skywalker or it was Ahsoka Tano. She soloed one of them entirely by herself and ended up winning the fight. It was kind of ridiculously crazy. I did not expect that out of her. And the best part is she's not tied exclusively to the Mandalorian battle force, just like the Mandalorian clan leader is. The Hunter is a bounty hunter option, mercenary who can align herself with any of the four main factions, be it the Rebels, the Republic, the Empire, or the Separatists. She is really, really good, and I could see people making her kind of a staple in list if you have the space for it. My biggest downsides with the Mandalorian clans, kind of like I talked about with the Republic, the Mandalorians are very good at offense and very good at defense. They're going to be even more elite than the GAR. This is the GAR. This is going to be more expensive points wise. You are going to have to choose if you want to up your activations and sacrifice a lot of upgrades, or if you want to have your Mandalorians kitted out like the warriors that they are, at the cost of having way less units on the board. And right now there's still a new faction. Not all of their kits have come out. They are really limited for a lot of the kits, especially heavy vehicles. Hopefully, we already know that they did announce that as of next year in 2027, we will be getting fighter support. The Rebels will be first with the X-Wings. While they didn't show it off on the timeline, we do know that because of the Mandalorian trailer that we will be getting Fang fighters from the Mandalorian clans. They're probably going to be second up on the list. No one else's fighter support's really known. Empire's probably going to get TIE fighters. I have no idea what the Separatists are probably going to get, other than maybe a Vulture droid. And I really don't know what the Republic is going to get. I don't think it's going to be an ARC 170. There's a possibility it's going to be a V19. There's a possibility it's going to be a Z95 Headhunter. There's a possibility it's going to be a V-Wing and they're going to go with an Interceptor instead of a fighter, but I don't really know for sure. So I'm really just kind of, I will say the Mandalorians are fun. I feel like they're especially more fun to kind of put together, to paint and build and assemble, and like I said, they look really fun on the table. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy playing Mandalorians. I don't think that they are for me and my playstyle is going to be the biggest problem, and I think that's going to be the hardest part and the saddest part, because I was really looking forward to picking up the Mandalorian clans. Alright, and that is going to more or less be everything that we are going to be talking about in this video. As you can kind of see what's upcoming next, I think, as I've kind of already mentioned in this video, and we'll kind of just wrap it up here. As fun as some of the other factions are, I think the Rebels are just the most fun, and I'm going to be going with the Rebel Alliance. So I will be joining the likes of Legion Cantina on the side of the Rebels. I know he's a very big, I think he's British. He's over in the UK, I think it is, or something. He's over in that kind of part of the world, but he is a very big Legion player. I like to listen to a lot of his reviews, a lot of his discussion area points and stuff like that. And I know he's a big Rebel player. So I think I'm going to be sticking it out with the Rebel Alliance. My plan is to pick up the Rebel Alliance starter set. I'm probably going to sell my Empire stuff to afford it. And then from there, I'm going to slowly start kind of going and picking up some kits. I would like to get some Fleet Troopers. I really do love them, especially from Episode 4, New Hope. They're really fun. I really hope to get to paint them up, and I will probably paint up a singular dude to be the Rebel friend from the LEGO Star Wars 2 and the LEGO Star Wars Complete Saga. The starter set is going to give me Commander Luke Skywalker. That's basically just Luke with the lightsaber in his throne room award ceremony at the end of Episode 4. Not too bad. He's pretty decent. I enjoyed playing with him. I actually got to eliminate both Ahsoka and Anakin with him. So it was actually, he was really, really good. We were not expecting him to actually kill Anakin. It was just that good. As you can also see, the customizable Mandalorian leaders with the clan leader and the hunter, as well as the customizable rebel officer and rebel agent. I do want to pick those up at some point to be able to have the customizable characters as an option. Now, obviously, the customizable Mando leader won't really be able to be fielded, but I would love to paint him up for a custom clan just to have as a display piece. I think that'll look really cool. I also do want to look into picking up some Rebel AT-RTs as well as some of the Rebel land speeders. They're going to be kind of flimsy. They're not really going to be as durable and as strong as like some of the other factions' heavy vehicles. But I do think if made cheap and made with enough effective weaponry, they might be able to help with providing some more heavy armor for the Rebel faction. Won't be as good as some of the others, but at least I will be able to have some anti-vehicle and have some vehicles myself. And the last kit I want to pick up is the Rebel Commandos. I might also eye up some of the others, like the Rogue One leaders with Jyn, Cassian, and K2. I might eye up the Scoundrels and stuff with Ahsoka, Fulcrum, Sabine, and Lando. And maybe the Heroes of the Rebellion with Leia, Han, Luke, and Operative Luke, which is the Jedi Luke, and Chewbacca. I'm not really sure what I'm going to pick up. I definitely think the starter set is going to be the first thing. We're going to kind of go from there. But that's really everything I wanted to talk about in this video today. So I want to go ahead and take this moment to say thank you very much for being here. I really do appreciate you guys really just coming out and watching this video. No, it's not as nicely edited as some of my other videos, and I do kind of just want to go back to doing some more like really fancy all out there edits. I'll be honest, I haven't really had a lot of time, and now that this video is more or less done and you're listening to this video, I will be working on the heavy vehicles theory list, where we're going to be talking about like what factions, what lineups and stuff I think are going to be the best for people who want to run heavy vehicle armies. I know I'm probably going to be in the minority when it comes to it, but I still want to provide that option and thing for everybody else. So with that, thank you very much. Hope you all have a wonderful day or a wonderful night, depending on what time you watch this. So stay healthy, stay safe, stay tactical, and may the Force be with you. This is your host Slick, signing out.